Hi friends, welcome back, and if you're new, welcome. My name is Nikki. I hope that you will consider subscribing. A little bit about me: I have been a part-time reseller for 10 years. I've been selling on eBay for 10 years, Poshmark and ThreadUp and Amazon for a little bit of, no, Amazon actually I've been selling on for 2 years, but Poshmark and ThreadUp for a year. So I like to just I can't talk, friends. Let me move my mic. I like to just share my tips and tricks with you. I have two other channels if you're interested. I have a vlog channel, which I'm starting to upload regularly over there. So subscribe if you're into vlogs. I always link it down below. I also have a beauty channel. I always say this, hence the reason for lots of makeup, because when I sit down to film, I usually sit down and film a minimum of 2 to 5 videos. Let's talk about ThreadUp. I've done a couple videos on ThreadUp, and my ThreadUp business model has changed, I would say, significantly. If you are a beginner to ThreadUp, I did an entire video walking you through, sharing my screen, steps A to Z on how to sell on ThreadUp. The only thing that is, well, we'll get to it, but I don't know what's wrong with me. I think my allergies are trying to kill me. Every spring and fall, I have severe allergies, and if I do not medicate, it's an issue. So I just took my allergy medication, but I still like dust or pollen in my throat. I don't know. All right, tip number 1, do not sell at the prices that ThreadUp sets. So I would say this video is more for people who aren't beginners, but honestly, this would be helpful if you're just starting there. So when you send clothes to ThreadUp, they set the price, and you have I think it's about a 12-hour window at first to change the price. Friends, I made this mistake for almost 6 months, and I just let them sell at whatever price they set. Their algorithm sets a price, and their algorithm, in my opinion, sets prices low because they want to move inventory quickly. Think about it. ThreadUp is a huge business, huge company. Anyone can send clothing, shoes, handbags to them. So they want to move things out of their inventory quickly. They want to get stuff out of their storage. They want to make their profit and move on. So they're going to price accordingly. They're not thinking about you and how much money you can get. You have to think about yourself and how much money you can get from selling your items. So I made this mistake for 6 months. I would send clothing, shoes, handbags to them. They would set the price and things would fly. Like, a lot of the stuff would sell so quickly. I sent them a Michael Kors purse that, honestly, I was surprised it sold so quickly. It's because they priced it so low. It was very old. It was like 4 or 5 years old. I had carried it. It was my own personal bag. I bought it at Ross. I think originally the bag was $300. I bought it for $150. Carried it for 5 years. ThreadUp priced it at something like $70, and it sold within a day of them posting it. And it sold, and I got $22 profit. You guys, I could have upped that price so much. I probably could have priced it at what I paid for it at Ross 5 years ago, closer to like $150, $170. Michael Kors sells for a lot on, well, some of it, caveat, some of it sells for a pretty decent amount of money on ThreadUp. So things would fly off the shelves, and I would get so excited, but then I'd be like, man, I'm not making that much. Like, I would get $2 on a top or $3 on a dress. If you go and watch the video where I show you A to Z how to sell on ThreadUp, or my ThreadUp videos, you'll see in those videos I wasn't changing the price. Now I change the price on everything, and I set it to the max. If you want a detailed video on how I price, let me know, because I'll be happy to do that for you. Basically, ThreadUp allows you to price your items at 80% of retail. So that's what I do for every single item. I check my email. You have to stay on top of this, because what happens is they email you and say your bag has been processed. From that point, you have 12 hours to change the price. Then it goes into bidding. Then you can't change it, because if someone buys it during the bidding time, it's sold at that price they set. And then after that time, which I believe bidding is 12 hours, then you can change the price again. But I have had times where I miss the initial 12-hour window. It goes into bidding at the price that ThreadUp set, and then it sells at a low price. So you got to stay on top of that. I need a drink. I started running again. Side note, I do this a lot. I've gained so much weight in this pandemic. This is the longest I have never been to the gym. The gyms have been closed here for officially 2 months, and I have officially gained like 15 pounds. Well, it's hard for me to tell because I started gaining weight before the pandemic. But I think I've probably, since it started in 2 months, I've probably gained 10 pounds. So I've started running again. I can't stand running. Even though I've run 2 marathons, I always say this. People just assume I like running. I don't. It's one of the most effective ways for me to slim down and stay in shape. It's great for your cardio health, but to get started going again. But I ran a mile today and I literally felt like I was going to pass out. And I was like, how did I run 26.2 miles? But I feel better doing that. And I'm trying to eat less carbs and sugar. Anybody else gaining weight during this pandemic, or is it just me? I'm watching these videos and girls are like, how I lost 20 pounds during the virus. I'm like, good for you, girlfriend. Shitty. Anyways, okay, so that's tip number 1. If you want detailed videos on how I price, I can share my screen and show you. I'd be happy to do that. Let me know in the comments down below. Tip number 2, know your brands. Initially, I was just sending everything to ThreadUp. And I say everything, I mean from like Old Navy to Louis Vuitton to Madewell. Know your brands. Now you can do that where you just send everything to them and see what you can get and then raise your price. But even though I've done that, and I use the mall brands, for example, like the more affordable mall brands, think Old Navy, Target brands, things like that. I don't know if you guys do, but I don't make much money on those things. They sell quickly. I'll set it to 80% of retail, which will maybe put it at like $15, and I'll get like $3 or less. Which, if you think about it, I'm not mad about it because all of that stuff I get from the bins. So per item, I'm probably paying like 20 or 50 cents for it. So I'm still making a profit, but just not as much profit. I would like to make a minimum of $10 profit on anything I send to ThreadUp, minimum. Because I get it from the bins. Like I said, I'm probably paying pennies for it, honestly. So a $10 profit is great, and anything above that. I have some, I'd say like 30% of the items I have at ThreadUp right now are the price, if they sell, are set to net me a minimum profit of $100. So that's just a very low end. But so for example, like Old Navy, Target brands, those things just don't sell for that much. Unless they're new with tags, you get a little bit more. You're not going to make as much profit even if you change your prices. You've got to learn your brands on there. When I'm at the bins and I'm shopping and I know I'm going to send things to ThreadUp, I will look on their website and see what they're selling for. Brands that have done really well for me, BCBG, Max Azria. Surprisingly, Banana Republic sells pretty good on there. Zara, I love sending Zara to them. Minimum net $10 profit on anything Zara usually that I send to them. I sent them this like Zara crop top. It was really cute. I would have kept it if I didn't gain so much weight. And it was really boobylicious and it like ties around. I mean, the thing, I got it from the bins. It was like 2 pieces of fabric that cover your breast, honestly. It was really tiny. And it sold on their website, and I net $20 profit. I didn't have to take photos. I didn't have to store it. That's one thing I love about ThreadUp. Honestly, it's becoming my favorite clothing platform to sell over eBay and Poshmark because it doesn't require as much work. I don't have to store it. And if you know your brands, you can net more profit on ThreadUp than these other clothing selling sites like eBay and Poshmark. Now you have to know your brands and know what they're selling for. So what other brands do well for me? Banana Republic, BCBG, Theory. Theory may take longer to sell. Theory sells for nothing for me on Poshmark. I don't know why. People will offer you like 20 bucks. If you don't know, Theory's a pretty expensive brand. I mean, a dress from Theory could go anywhere from $100 to $500. ThreadUp prices, when I raise the price, I have a ThreadUp dress. It's just like a Theory dress. It's not that cute, in my opinion. Not that cute. It's like a gray linen color, and I have the price set at 80% of retail, and it's listed for $279, and it's in someone's cart right now. So hopefully that sells, but I love sending Theory, Tahari. I cannot move Tahari on Poshmark for more than like 30, 40 bucks to save my life. eBay Tahari does a little better. I have a pair of Tahari patent leather shoes on ThreadUp right now that are listed for like $125. And they're in someone's cart. So you see what I'm saying? You do your research. It does take a little time, but once you start seeing the brands while you're out and you learn them, you don't have to look them up as much. Now when I go out and I see Theory, I immediately think either I'm sending it to ThreadUp or The RealReal. The RealReal's more picky. Sometimes they take Theory, sometimes they don't. I like sending Vince to ThreadUp. I can't move Vince to save my life. I feel like I can't even give Vince away on Poshmark. eBay, it does a little better. ThreadUp, price is right, and it sells. So tip number 2, know your brands. Tip number 3, and this is, remember, ThreadUp changes their policies all the time. That's one thing about being a reseller on someone else's website that you don't own. Policies change, things change, you can't do anything about it. I used to love doing ThreadUp Luxe because they would process your clothing a lot faster. Now with the pandemic, it kind of slowed down, but it seems like it's picking up. So there's ThreadUp where you can just send, you can print it out online, print the label, and send them the clothing. You box it up, you send it to them. Again, if you don't know this process, I'll link the video down below where I show you how to do all of this. ThreadUp Luxe, it's so antiquated. Like the RealReal, you can just print out a label similar to the normal ThreadUp and send your stuff. ThreadUp Luxe, you have to email someone, request a ThreadUp Luxe label, and ThreadUp Luxe is basically you're sending them luxury brands, higher end brands. It used to be that you only needed one Luxe item in the box that you send them, and everything else can be just small brands, whatever. But now they're saying that if you do ThreadUp Luxe, the majority of those items need to be luxury items. So you have to request the labels. At one point, I was able to get 10 labels at one time. Right now, they told me I just requested labels, and she told me I could only have 5. And they take forever. They actually ship you the labels. It's so annoying. They ship you the labels. It took it's been a month, and I've only gotten 2 of the 5. I don't know where the other 5 are. The other 3. Hopefully they're coming. But the great thing about it is that when you do Luxe, I feel like, I'm pretty sure there's different people that do the Luxe processing than the normal ones. They know luxury brands and they process them faster. So right now, I just sent a Luxe box last week and I got an email, surprisingly, that it was going to be processed in 7 days. That was the normal process before the whole pandemic. Then it went to like a month, but it seems like they're getting back to that. So if you can, try to get a ThreadUp Luxe label. I think when you're new, I think they'll only send you 1. It's because I've been selling with them for a year now that they'll send me 5. Some of my friends told me at one point they were able to get 25, the most at one time. So I definitely prefer sending Luxe, but just be careful now. You can't just send 1 Luxe item. So you have to, because that's how people would get away with getting the normal brands processed faster, is they would just have like maybe 1 or 2 Luxe items and the rest be mall brands or whatever, and it would get processed in a week. But they're like honing down on that because they really want the majority of those things to be Luxe. But if you've got Luxe items, use that Luxe label. They're starting to open up, they're starting to get back to normal, and it looks like they're starting to process things faster. I much prefer using the Luxe labels. And then, you know, if I don't have a Luxe label, like I just sent 1 Luxe label box and 2 normal clean out boxes yesterday. So I'll keep you posted and see how that goes. But those are my 3 tips and the 3 ways that I've changed my ThreadUp business. I just wanted to post this because I've seen a lot of comments on that last ThreadUp video saying you need to change your prices. And I wanted to say I did months ago. So hopefully this was helpful. If you want to see more ThreadUp videos, let me know. I've heard you guys, you want more eBay videos. They're coming. I've just been struggling to film, if I'm being honest with you. I'm an introvert. I love staying at home. I'm a homebody, but being at home like 99% of the time just started getting to me. And usually filming would be my outlet, but I just didn't even want to film. I didn't want to put makeup on. I was gaining a bunch of weight. Yeah, just hanging out with my boyfriend, eating, and can't work out. So I'm starting to get my mojo back. So more videos coming soon. Don't forget to subscribe. You can check out my most recent video right here.